Hello guys, so for today's cookery session we're going to do a creamy Cajun pasta bake. So I'm going to use a slow cooker and an air fryer, but you can use the stove and fry with a frying pan and use a pan on the stove, or you can even put it in a casserole dish and put it in the oven. It's up to you. So I'll leave it with you, but I'll get started in a minute and show you what to do first. Okay, so first of all you're going to need one onion. I've chosen a red onion, you can use a white onion, it doesn't matter. A bell pepper, again you can choose the colour, I've chosen red, and some garlic. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop those up in a moment and then pop them all into a frying pan if you're at home and that's what you want to use. I'm going to use our air fryer. Doesn't really matter as long as they're fried, and you only want to fry them really for sort of 5 to 10 minutes, but I'll show you. Okay, so I'm starting with the onion. I've taken off the peel and I've taken off the two ends, and then I'm going to cut it down the centre and plop them so that they're like that. They're just easier to cut this way and a bit safer. You always want to keep your hand like that and cut down that way, just so that it's safe and keep your fingers out of the way. Okay, it's quite chunky pieces. Once they're fried off, obviously they'll go smaller. So that's okay. So with your bell pepper, the best thing to do first of all is just very carefully remove the stalk like this, and that'll just pull out once you've got all the bits off the top. And then again, chop it in half down the middle, and then it's much easier to cut once it's half like that, and it'll stay still for you on the chopping board. And again, just cut it into whatever piece sizes you want. I do them quite chunky again, but you can do them as you wish. If you're struggling to get through, use the tip of the knife to start the cut, just so it stops you slipping. Okay, so that's like this. So use the tip just to start the cut, and then you can go straight through. Sometimes the skin's a little bit hard to cut through, and it can then make it more difficult. If you struggle with cutting, then most of these things you can buy pre-chopped, and that's worth bearing in mind. So if you are joining us and you want to do these recipes with us, then if you need things to be pre-chopped, then buy them pre-chopped. It'll be obviously a lot safer for you if that's the case. I'm just pulling off any of these middle bits because they've got all the seeds on, and it'll be very spicy with those in, even though it's only a bell pepper. So what I'm going to do now is put all of that into the air fryer, or if you're at home and you want to put it into a pan and fry it in a pan, that's fine. And I'm going to add a little bit of garlic as well, and that'll just flavour it all. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'll put it on for about 5 to 10 minutes and I'll check it. I'm going to use this fry light, which is really healthy alternative for oil, but you can use any oil you want to. Okay, so as you can see, I've added the fry light, which is all the white bits on there, and popped it into the air fryer. I'm going to shut the air fryer too, turn it on, and then just set it to, let's say 10 minutes. I can always check it in between. And there we go, pop it on and allow it to do its job. If you're frying on the hob, obviously you can see it easily as you go along. All we want to do is to give them a bit of colour. We don't really want to you know, make them really soft. Just give them a bit of colour. So while that's cooking, if I was doing this on a hob at home, I would now put the pasta into cold water in a saucepan with a little bit of salt, and I would leave it to boil until the pasta was cooked. Usually that's 10 to 15 minutes, it depends on the pasta you buy. Some of them are quicker cooked than others. Because I'm doing it in a slow cooker, I don't need to do that. I can just put the dry pasta into the slow cooker, so if you have one of those, it does save time and it is a bit easier. But that's what you'd need to do now, guys, if you are cooking on the... Okay, and now to make the Cajun sauce. Again, I'm going to put everything in the slow cooker for me, and followed by the veg that's currently frying, and also the pasta. which is exactly what you would do, but you'd possibly put it in a pan if you're using the hob instead of a slow cooker, but you do exactly the same thing. So all the ingredients that I'm now going to put in are to make the sauce, okay? So bear with me, I'm going to start with chopped tomatoes, and I'm going to use 3/4 of the can. So this is a standard size can. Most cans you buy from the supermarket will be this size. This is 400 grams, but I only want 300 grams, so I'm going to use 3/4 of the can. Just pour that in roughly when we're at 3/4. Put the rest on one side. Okay, so I've got some black beans in water here. I'm just going to drain these off in the sink. Okay, so we're going to use 200 grams, which is half of this can of black beans. So we're just going to pour those in. And then once we have about half the can left, we're going to leave it there. Okay. Next thing we're going to add is some coconut milk. What I'm going to do with this, you get the cream on the top of the coconut milk and then there's water underneath. We only want the cream because we just want the creamy taste. So the cream on the top, if you can take that all the way off, that will help. And then you just want to take your tablespoon and take that cream off the top and add that in, all of it. And then leave the water, we don't want that. Okay, so just pop all of that cream in. This is a reduced fat coconut milk because coconut milk can be quite unhealthy, so I'd advise buying the reduced fat one, but you can have the full fat if you want to. Okay, so that's just left all the water, if you can see it, in the bottom of the can, which we don't need. Okay, so that can go to one side. Right, so we're just going to give that a little stir. Now to add the flavour, we're going to add some of our Cajun seasoning. We need 2 tablespoons, and then we need 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika as well. If you have it, it's not essential to the recipe. It's just say it's optional, but I'd like to put it in. So there's a 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. And 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. At this point now, the only thing left to add is your fried up vegetables, your onion and your pepper, and to add your pasta, cooked or uncooked depending. If you can put it in uncooked if it is in a slow cooker and it's going to be in there for a good hour, or you can use cooked if you're just going to do it on the stove, and then you just let the sauce to cook for minutes and then it will be done. So it's up to you, whichever way you do it. Okay, so my veg has got a little bit of colour on it now, so I'm going to put that into the pasta sauce. Put that into the pasta sauce. There we go. And now all I've got left to add into my slow cooker is the dry pasta. So I'll just add this in. Sorry, let me just tell you how much I'm putting in here. I can find how much. So there's 500 grams in here. You only need about 200 grams. So I mean, it doesn't matter if it's slightly more, slightly less. I kind of guess a lot of things when I'm cooking, to be honest. But about 200 grams. And then if you stir all of that together in your slow cooker or on your hob, this will make a nice pasta bake for you, a nice tasty pasta bake. You can add salt and pepper to taste, but you don't need to add that yet. It's up to you, okay? And then once that's done, in a little while, I'll show you what it looks like. and see if you've had a go with me. It'd be nice to see yours as well. Okay, thank you.